don't be ashamed of your English, don't be ashamed of your capacities, don't be ashamed of the place you're from, because it's very nice to see that people from different places on the earth are doing great stuff. And I think that everyone is doing a great job.
Welcome back to Breaking Silos Collective, the show where we inform you how to break silos and why it actually matters. My name is Doris Carini. I'm the co-host of today's show, and I'm also the Europe ambassador of the East-West Center Hawaii. We are interviewing the East-West Center 2021 Innovation for Sustainable Development Fellows. And today on the show, I have our fellow Marina Freitag from Brazil, and she's one out of 15 who are working in the fields of climate change, art, education, health, or disaster resilience. This episode is produced with the East-West Center, and we're going to learn more about Marina's initiative, which is called Nox. And her goal is to help initiatives that seek to cause social or environmental impact by improving their digital presence. So she's an expert in marketing and communications. She's currently a master's student in communication and creative industry. And she has a lot of background in audiovisual research and production, business management, design, communication, and digital marketing in general. I'm very happy to have Marina on the show today and would like to hand it over to you, Marina, to share with us a little bit more about Nox and your ideas and how you actually became part of this.
Thank you, Doris. Thank you for having me here in Breaking Silos. I'm really happy with this opportunity because I would like to talk more about Nox Project, since I feel that is still very confusing for some people, even for other fellows. And I think that this happened because, different from the other initiatives that are participating on this program, we created the Nox Project for the program. So we didn't have any prior mentoring done before we started the program with East-West Center. So the Nox Project actually began after my time as a teaching fellow for another program of East-West Center, the Innovation for Sustainable Development Institute, which I was a teaching fellow for Brazil STEM. And it was a very, we had many people from different backgrounds, and we were facing the worst period of pandemic here in Brazil at the time. So we had some motivational issues, and we were struggling to work remotely with a team that we didn't know before that. So it was very difficult for us, but we ended up with some good ideas, and they were good on paper. We couldn't actually start working on them. But when it finished, I was starting, okay, so how can I really build an initiative that is related to my field? So I can use communication to help other initiatives, even from my colleagues, because they had very good social as well. So I started this project, and then I invited another colleague from advertising. I told her, okay, let's try to build something using communication to enhance social enterprises. And then we started designing this mentoring process on digital communication and digital marketing. And that's Nox.
Great. So would you say, summarized, you are helping other fellows succeed by supporting them with your marketing expertise and digital marketing tools that you help them use.
Yes, I could say that, yes, because I feel that many social enterprises are entrepreneurs, because here in Brazil we have this kind of um, entity that you are an entrepreneur of yourself, and you can really have your business be a company, but it's just you. So this small type of business, it's people don't have enough money to really put into great agencies of advertising agencies. And during the pandemic, we saw that everything was done online. So you have to be on social media, you have to have a website, and these kind of social enterprises struggle with that the most, because they don't have enough staff or money to really use something like this. And we thought that maybe we could design a process that was low cost and that could maybe help them to really even gather some money from it.
Great. Marina, some of your co-fellows who are also in that East-West Center Sustainable Development Fellowship, they ask some questions, and I'd like to share them with you. Christina from the Philippines, for example, would like to know, how is Project Nox actually helping your clients? What type of activities are you offering? You said it's a mentoring process, but what else can we think of that you're helping with?
We are helping them mainly with advertising online,
Mhm.
but also by helping them to produce content that is reliable and useful for the society. The mentoring process had 4 phases. The first of them is the diagnosis phases. So we apply a form with the companies to understand if they media, if they have sites, if they produce any video, if they sell any product online. And we try to understand if they have knowledge and resources to invest on it,
Mhm.
to apply in it. So this is the first phase, and it's crucial for us to understand how we can help them during the mentoring process, which is not the same for every company. It's very unique, really trying to fit their needs. The second phase is the phase of your strategy. So plan how they will build content and how they will use the correct tools that suits them their needs. The third phase is the phase that we are going to implement these strategies with them, so we can understand where they will find some difficulties, and we can help really to solve these difficulties with them. The fourth phase, the final one, is for us to them how to gather data from the strategies that were implemented, and to use this data to improve the next ones.
Got it. So it's a full circle of planning, implementing, and then also gathering results and see how they can learn for the next round to become a long-term successful business.
Yes, exactly. And it's important to say that one thing that is going to happen during the whole process of the mentoring is the co-creation of a digital product between Nox and the company. We chose this way of working so we could have a better understanding of how to create strategies together. It is also important to say that during the mentoring process, we are going to co-create a digital product. And we chose to work like that because it helps the business and Nox project to sustain itself. So after the collaboration is finished, we will have a product to sell that is with reliable content, that is useful for people, and that can help us to have money to reapply in the project, and to help the company to have money to reapply community strategies.
Great. Can you tell us a little bit who are your clients right now? That's also a question some of your co-fellows asked. So did Christina from the Philippines, but also Tinley from Bhutan was interested in that. And so was Fur from the Philippines. They all were curious, who are your clients and how do you choose the companies to work with?
Okay, great. I like this question because I would like to explain that this first edition of the mentoring, because we are going to do this with different editions. Each edition will be improved by the previous one feedbacks. So this first semester we are working with 4 companies, and we chose these companies in a different way that we intend to choose them on the next editions. As I told you before, we started this project during the program. So we really had to meet some deadlines. It was very important for us to have the project running even before we had the correct advertising for it. So during this first edition, for this first edition, we chose the companies in a different way. The first 2 companies we chose by talking with my previous fellows from the other program for Research Center. So we chose a social initiative from a psychologist that wants to produce content on mental health for the internet. And we chose another initiative that works with organic food. And then the other 2 ones, we made a search through our network, and we were like looking for good social enterprises, and then we invited them, showed them the process, and asked them if they wanted to participate. And both of them were very glad that we asked them, we invited them. And we chose the number of 4 companies because of our resources and of our time. Right now, working regularly at Nox is just me and Bianca Watanabe, which is my partner on this project. We also work with other professionals, but they are called to work with us on demand by project. Like if we need a designer, if we need a video production person, then we can ask them to participate and we can really pay them the correct amount. But we cannot pay for other regulars right now because it's very new. And that is why we are working with this digital product situation. We think that when we have a regular amount of money to invest on this project, it will be much better, and we probably will be able to choose different and different companies, other types of companies. Not other types, but like they will also be social enterprises, but from other niches and with different needs.
And you were saying that the second round was different when choosing the second round of businesses to work with?
Yes, they will be different because now that we have the site, the website, and we have a much better understanding of what the project is and how the mentoring process is done, we can better advertise it. And we are going to really work on some paid campaigns to achieve to go to much more companies, organizations, and then we will have a period of receiving their subscriptions. From their subscriptions, we are going to select the ones we are going to work with.
And you said you had limited capacity at this point, only your colleague Bianca, who's also on the team. How many businesses can you support, you think, in the near future?
It will depend on how if we can gather enough money to have other regulars. If not, we will keep working for companies each time.
Okay, so for each cycle, so to say. Marina, what type of platforms or tools do you use to analyze, train, and maximize the online presence and operation of businesses? That was the question Tricia from the Philippines would like to know.
It will depend a lot on what they really answer on during the diagnosis phases, because their needs will be different. And this is a very unique process. Of course, we have some things, some tools, some strategies that we will use on all of them that are basic to communication, digital communication, but other will be different. Like one thing that we will use and we are using on all of them is some basic knowledge on how to operate Facebook ads, Google ads. These are stuff that you have to know the basics, even for you to really publish some campaigns, but for you to also analyze your data and use them to build better contents. But there are some kind of tools that will depend on their needs. For example, something that really is very variable is email marketing automation softwares, lead segmentation softwares, landing page creation softwares, because these softwares, they vary a lot in price, in complexity. So it will be no use for us or for the organizations if we teach them how to use a software that they can no longer pay in the longer run, and that, or if they cannot really use by themselves, if they will use, like, what would be the use of a software that have a lot of tools, and the company can only use 10% of the tools because they don't know how to use the other. For us, it doesn't make any sense. So that's why the tools will be different for each and one of them.
So you're basically saying that you're helping your entrepreneurs and businesses become fully self-sustaining and not needing to depend on a certain software that they might not be able to manage without your help. So you're really trying to teach them a lot about the online tools that are available too, so that they can fully go off without you at some point. Is that your approach?
Yes, correct. Not only tools, but also basic knowledge about communication and marketing as well, just for them to really, like, we will work with branding stuff with them, for them to really understand how it is done, why is it done.
You said one client was the organic food business. Do you
Yes.
have examples, like how did your team help them reach their goals? Do you have examples to share where they were at before they used your service and then where they are now because of your help?
We don't have from organic food because it is still on diagnosis phases. We don't start each phase at the same time. So we can always have a different amount of work in every month during the semester. But we do have an example for the other company, which is a company for environmental education. They produce content that really helps people to be more sustainable in their day by day. And we have some, like, at the beginning of the program, they were already working with digital communication. They used to produce content for their Instagram profile, and it was good content. But then we made the diagnosis phases with them. We saw they had potential. They could really produce content for themselves, and we teach them how to really make a better use of the information they were already producing. So we gather some of their online content. We format. We made another format of it. We were like, instead of just small and quick publications on social media. We really developed these ideas, and we wrote a legal book so they could sell it in a more complete way with some very new content as well. And it was great because they could really sell this product. And now we are going to work in another product. We are going to collaborate in a digital course. They want to help buildings, residential buildings, to be more sustainable. So the administration, the course will be directed to the administration of these buildings.
Are your clients mainly based in Brazil, or do you also work with international initiatives?
Only in Brazil. Only in Brazil.
Okay. And you were saying that you really try to understand each business first before you give any mentoring and any advice. But if you had some advice to anyone out there, which tool do you think everyone should use now in this new age of digital presence and digital marketing? Is there a one place to go where everyone should be findable?
It depends on the country, because countries use some platform that we do not use here. For example, Facebook, for us, it's not the same as it was before. We don't actually use it to talk with business, to talk with brands. We use Instagram for that.
Okay.
And that is the tool that I would say it's very important here in Brazil.
Okay. That was also a question by one of your cohort members, Tinley from Bhutan. She would like to know, what are the limitations of Project Nox, and why do you think you have limitations to face?
Okay. Our limitation definitely is resources, but I think this is something that we are going to solve during the next few months, while really working on the project and sell products, or looking for other investors, partners, because right now we just started, so we don't have we don't have the whole idea of what is going to be later. But I know that today our limitation, for example, is that we can only work with 4 companies at times.
And you said you're trying to solve those limitations within the next months. Who do you see are possible partners in your network that you can get support from?
In the next months, we intend to apply for some grant and funding that we have here in Brazil, even like mostly during the pandemic still, because as many enterprises lost their investments during this time, we have some initiatives that are intend to help this business. So maybe we will try to something like that, and we will gather the money from our work with these organizations.
You said the businesses you work for, they pay for your services, but it's a very low payment, or it's affordable. Is that correct?
Today, they don't pay for our services. Today, we understand how much of work we will have to do with them or for them if they really need a designer and we have to contract a designer, and then it will be a higher cost for us. We will predict this amount and we will put them on the percentage of the product that will sell. So if we have to make a lot of work, the percentage on the contract with the organization will be that is 60% for Nox, 40% for the organization, or it can be 10% for Nox and 90% for the organization. It will depend. But we intend that in the future, we can have just a really specific amount that will be put in the percentage, the lowest amount we can, or we will charge for the mentoring, but a very small amount, the smallest we can to maintain ourselves.
Okay. And Marina, what are the criteria that you and your partners set for possible clients? Do you have a list, or how do you find your clients?
We have some basic criteria, but they are not so strict. There are some things that can be evaluated if it fits. But for now, the four companies, they have these characteristics. So the criteria is basically that they have to work producing some kind of positive impact, social positive impact or environmental positive impact. They have to work with SDGs, some of them. It has to be their main goal. They really have to be social enterprises. It's not for enterprises that they just want to gather money, for example, just to sell products. It has to have a greater goal, and they have to have a low amount of money to invest in communication.
And Marina, do you intend to partner with any business accelerators in your area? Because to me, as you're describing your project, you're not just giving marketing advice, but you're also trying to help the business succeed in a sense, right? With the mentoring and research phase. So do you intend in partnering with any business accelerators?
It wasn't our initial goal to help them succeed in all of their areas, like help them succeed as a company in total. We were just thinking about how we can help them create a communication strategy, a communication plan that can sustain itself and that can help them advertise their business. But of course, it will help their company through that. So probably we should look for something like this.
It's like a side effect almost, right? That you're
Yes,
also
exactly.
trying to help them succeed. Great. Marina, do you want to share with us which sustainable development goals you're trying to reach with Project Nox?
Okay, we are working, trying to help to achieve the SDGs 8, 9, and 17 more directly. I know that all these 2030 agenda, they have SDGs that really are integrated with one another, but we think that these three ones, that they are like our main goals, that because we really are trying to build something new that can help create better structures for social and for economic growth.
Marina, can you explain us your own logo and your naming for your project Nox? Where did it come from? What inspired it?
Okay. The Nox word is not directly related to something in the project, is much more an idea. And we don't have this word in Portuguese, like on our dictionary, we don't have it. But the Nox word comes from two different perspectives, and one of them came from Bianca, the other one came from me. We were okay, so that's the perfect word for us because it has many meanings. One of them was in mythology, and it's related to chaos and stuff and to organizing it. But the main one for us is that is a word used in chemistry. Nox is something related to having connection with other stuff. because that's the idea of our mentoring itself. We want to start the process, the collaboration process with the participating companies, because we realize that we have unuseful knowledge on communication that is going to be good for them and that is good for society, and together we can really create something. That's why it's Nox.
Marina, I know the pandemic has hit not just Brazil very hard, but also other countries. But what do you think is different for entrepreneurs in Brazil at this point with the pandemic and where you're at?
I think that we here in Brazil were more, we faced some difficulties on going to work remotely because we were not used to do so. Other countries were much far ahead on that, and they already have digital means to work with their colleagues, and they were used to it. Or maybe they wouldn't work online, but like they wouldn't work from home, but they would work online on their processes and operations, and we were far behind on that. So that, I think that was the main struggle, that is the main struggle. And also access to resources. Our students struggle with that, and many people were fired because they didn't have the right access to the computer or to the internet, or didn't know how to use the tools. This was the main problem. People didn't know how to use the tools. And I think it's happening still, because we still have social distancing measures. We didn't finish the vaccination. We are just in the middle of the second phase of vaccination. So it will take a bit for us to really recover from that.
And how do you think Project Nox can help future clients support that adaptation to the new normal that comes with this pandemic?
I think the project goal is so related to that, to this issue, because the idea is to really teach people that do not work in the field of communication how to use some basic stuff that makes them they can really use and put into practice right away. And it's important to say that we do not intend to replace advertising companies or replace a communication department that maybe they build when they go bigger. I mean, that's the goal. I would love to see them really putting money into it and getting the best results. And if they don't have to do them themselves, it's nice. But if they have to do themselves right now, I would like to help them with that.
Marina, we'd like to ask you a question that we ask all our interviewees on the show, but what does it mean to you to break silos?
I think it means to act disruptive, to come up with some good and innovative idea and putting it into practice within your field or within your personal life.
Nice. And is there any advice that you would like to give others who are trying to break silos in their own communities for sustainable development? Can you share some learnings from your journey or give any ideas and tips?
Yes, I can. I think it's something basic and that everyone says, but it's true. Is like if you want to do something, if you have an idea and you don't know exactly what to do with that, yet. You don't know if you have resources. You don't know if it's a good idea. You don't know if you will have collaboration or anything. Just go and just start. Once you start, you will see where you will have to really improve your idea. And that's exactly what happened to us. I started work on an initiative that wasn't put into practice, right? And now I have another initiative with a colleague that was built from it, because of it, and that is actually happening and actually helping people. So it was important for me to start this, like the other one, and it was important for me that it wasn't ready yet, because if it was ready, I wouldn't have this one now.
Thank you. So it's kind of taking the first step and also having the courage of failing. Anything else, Marina, that you'd like to share with our listeners at the end of this show?
Maybe maybe something very personal. Don't be ashamed of your English. Don't be ashamed of your capacities. Don't be ashamed of the place you're from, because it's very nice to see that people from different places on the earth are doing great stuff. And I think that everyone is doing a great job.
Well, thank you, Marina, for taking us to your world and sharing with us that initiative Project Nox is trying to solve. And it was very insightful to see a new approach to marketing and to digital services. It's very different from other agencies that I've worked with so far or learned about. So thank you for sharing your innovative approach with us. And thank you to our listeners for watching. If you want to learn more about Project Nox and Marina's initiative, you can find her link in the description box below. If you like this video, please give us a thumbs up and feel free to share it with your network. And subscribe to our channel for more interviews coming soon. Thank you from me and Marina Freitag. Thank you for being on the show, and we hope to see you soon. Bye-bye.
Thank you.